Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with me, and as promised, we are going to start working with the AJ kit that came out in June. Now, if you did not receive an AJ kit or haven't purchased one since, I think we only have 3 left in stock, and they are, I mean, it's beautiful. Just the paper alone, to me, is absolutely gorgeous. But you get a full pack of ephemera die cuts. These are not chipboard, they're the thinner ones. You get some vellum, you get a full pack of these. This is, what is this? Washi tape strips. And then you get some envelopes, some vintage book page, and then some of my favorite paper. We try to give some of this in each kit that we do for the AJ because I know you guys love it as much as I do. And then you get some dot grid paper, and then you also get some newsprint paper. You get 2 of the larger paper bags. Get some cardstock. You get a full roll of the washi. This is Hello Always, and it's like the little well, let me just open it and I'll show you. Instead of trying to think of what it's called, it's like the little stamps, as you can see. And these are very, very nice. They're not thin at all. So that's from 49 in Market. Then you get some trim that we're going to use also. We're going to use a lot of this. Then you get a Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen. Now, we haven't given any of these in a long time, but I'm going to show you how to get this primed and start using it. I love these. It puts a little bit of shimmer where you want it, but yet it's not like a glitter. You don't have to worry about glitter. I hate glitter, so just to let you know. All right, so let me go back to the paper. All of this back over here. So the paper is Academia, I hope I'm saying that right, from 49 in Market, and it is by Dennis Bruton. It's 12 of 12 collection. This is the cover. You could use these little blocks if you want, but on the back side they give you a full sheet of 12 of 12 paper. So I will be using that. Here is one sheet. Look at that. I love these doors. Very vintagey. And this is a nice thickness of paper to do what we want to do today. As a matter of fact, we'll probably have enough to do more than one, but I will probably only get one. If I get one finished, we'll see. But this is going to be a different type journal. I haven't made one like this before. I'm hoping it turns out like I can imagine. I've not even practiced it, so I have no clue. I love this paper. But we're hoping it's going to turn out. I've got it in my head how I want to do it, but we'll see. It may turn out to be a flop, and if it does, you may not ever see this video. That's pretty paper. Look at that. It's all pretty. Love this. You could cut these out and make little journal cards out of them, front and back. And then this one, I love that piece too. This is one of my favorites too. I love chevron. And then this I love. Now, I'm not crazy about owls, but you know, I can look over that owl because of this door and everything. All of that. I love it. Look at that. And then this old vintage looking, I guess that's maybe it looks like a school or a church. Not sure, but I love it. I love the layer effect in all of this. I mean, you can tell I just love it all. Okay, I'm going to pick 3 papers that I want to use, and I'm thinking I'm going to use these 3, I do believe. I want this to be my cover. I have to kind of pick one to be my cover. I want this to be my cover, and then I think I want to go like that. This will be the second one, and then this will be the third one, and I'll show you what we're going to do. I'll show you what we're going to try to do. That is. Okay, the first thing that I need to do, let's see. Yeah, I need to trim this barcode off the bottom. The reason being is this side has got the barcode on it. This side would be okay because it's just words and phrases. But what we'll do is trim them off and then we'll use them somewhere in the journal. And it is going to be a journal, believe it or not. I hope. I always have to say I hope because I never know if it's going to work out. You know I don't practice it. You know I don't make one ahead of time. It's just trial and error for me. Okay, let's see if we can cut all three of these at once. Hopefully I'll cut them right. Yeah, okay. Now this side, see, we'll use, look at that. That's a nice piece. This one's got some nice wording on there. So we're not going to throw those away. That one, same thing. So we'll lay those aside. Now I want my journal to be 9 inches tall. This is 12 inches, of course. So we're going to cut a little bit off the top because I want it to be 9 inches tall. I don't want it to be any taller than that. I think 9 inches will be plenty. So I'm going to try to hold them together and cut them all at the same time. So I'm going to put it on 9. Make sure it's butted up against everything and even as can be. And then we are going to cut it right here. Okay, and don't throw these pieces away. Of course, we can use those for pockets and things. So we've got that done. Now, I've not seen one exactly like we're making. I've seen some similar, and I think they called them flip-flop or something like that, but that's not exactly what I'm going to be doing. So just hang loose, hang on. Maybe it'll work and we'll see. Okay, now I want this to be a continuous long piece. So each one of these is 12 inches. So I'm going to lap them over about 1/2 an inch or 5/8 of an inch. Now, in order to get this as straight as possible, I'm going to use my scoreboard and lay this on there and then lay this up like this when I start to glue, and that will kind of get it as straight as it possibly can. If I don't, I might get it a little bit whomper jawed, and we don't want that. Now I'm going to use my glue stick to put these together just because I want some wiggle room, but you can use your other glue if you want. I think my glue stick is going to be fine. I'm just going to put about a 5/8 of an inch wide strip right there of glue. And then let's see, let's do this back up against the top. And I'm going to put that right there on that 1/2 inch mark so that I can kind of see where my 5/8 is. That's it right there, I do believe. And I'm just going to make sure that I've got it all the way up against everything and press that together. Okay. Well, it looks pretty straight to me. Then we're going to come down and do the same thing to this one. So I'm going to put my glue on here. I don't think it really matters which side you put your glue on or which one you lap over which, as long as you lap them over. Now, if I see when I start folding this that it needs more glue, then I'll just add more glue. It's not a biggie. And I'm going to put that on that 7 mark right there, and then that'll let me kind of guide as to where I want to put that. There we go. You don't have to do it with a scoreboard. I'm bad about getting things crooked if I don't, so. That's my reasoning. Now, I just want to see, I'm just going to check right here and see if I've got any that looks a little bit off. I do. Right here. And I'm just going to trim it to make it, it's just a tiny, tiny bit. I shouldn't even worry about it, but since this is going to be a 1 in a million shot, we're going to try to make it as right as we can. There we go. Right. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to make a tall, thin journal or skinny journal, whatever you want to say. But I'd like to get all of this in the front cover. So I'm trying to, let me think a minute. I'm trying to think, and that's hard for me. Now, instead of folding, this paper is pretty thick, and instead of just folding, I think I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to put this paper out here on the 12-inch mark, all the way down, 12-inch. Just try to get it as straight as I possibly can. And then, let's see. I don't think I'm going to make it to get all of it on there, but I'm going to get the most of it on there. Okay, I'm going to make this 4.5 wide, I think. I think that's going to work. If this doesn't work, like I told you, you'll probably never see this video. So if I score at 7.5, that's going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So let's score at 7.5. That's going to get me most of my front cover like I want. Whoops. All right. Then I'm going to slide it down. I'm going to put this score line right on that 12. Make sure this is all butted up against that top. Okay, and then I'm going to score at, what did I say? 7.5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm going to score again at 7.5. Now you can flip it back and forth and do your scoring if you want. I'm not going to go to that. Not going to go to that extreme. I'm just going to do it this way. Okay. I'm moving my score line down to 12 again. I'm going to go score at 7.5. Okay, move it down. I'm hoping this is turning out right. Keep your fingers crossed. 7.5. Okay, move it down again. Score line right there. Score line's getting harder to see on that. 7.5 right there. Okay, move it down again. I know you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be way too hard. It's really not once you get, it's not going to be once we get everything scored. And you can just fold if you want. Like I said, I'm not so great at just folding and getting things right. I have to use my scoreboard. I got used to using it so many years that I'm not good without it. All right, 7.5 again right there. Oh, it's going to cut our building in half. Oh well. Now, let's see if we can fold this and make it look like I think it needs to look. All right, this is going to be the front, so we're going to fold that way. Then we're going to fold this one that way. That one will go that way. That one that way. It's going to be kind of like an accordion. That one that way. That way. And then this little piece, you can either cut this off or use it as a little pocket in the back. And I think I'm going to use it as a little pocket in the back because I don't really want to cut that off. So, looks like we might have scored it correctly. Can you believe it? So let's see. I'm going to burnish my score lines pretty well so it'll stay folded. Alright, front cover. There. And see, you can barely tell where we glued these together, and they're holding really well, so no problems there. Okay, that looks good. Now then, now what are we going to do? I don't know. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to glue this one here and here and make this into a little tuck pocket. So I'm going to cut a little pull in the middle. Now each one of these is going to have a signature. Let me count my signatures first. I'm going to have one here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to have 7 signatures. That's going to be a lot, but we can do it. They're going to be small signatures, and I think it's going to look great, so we'll do it. You just turn it over where you can see what you're punching. Alright, punch a little pull there, and then we'll glue this little piece right here. Woo, look how crooked I'm going today. And this little piece right here down. And that's just going to create a little tab, a little tuck pocket on the back. And that's just because I didn't want to cut this off. If you don't want a little tuck pocket, just cut the excess off. No, or you can even cut part of this off and not even make this as big as what I'm making it. But you know me, I either go big or go home. So if I'm going to make something, I'm going to make it big. Okay. Now I'm thinking about what I want to do next. I want this to be my front cover, but I also want a little flap on it. And I know you're thinking, why do you want to cover it up? Well, I don't necessarily want to cover it. But let me look, see what I got. Okay, I think I'm going to go with some of these little hexagons right here. And I don't want it to go all the way to the top. I just want a little flap. So you can open that flap up and you're going to see the door. I don't want it to go all the way to this side. So I'm going to cut it about right there, and then I just want about 1 inch to fold around, so we're going to cut it about like that. Let's see if we can do that. And if you're following along with me, good luck, because I have no idea where we're going. I'm just trying to do what's in my head, and sometimes that's a hard thing to do. Okay, let's cut it about right there. And like I said, I have seen, and I can't remember where I saw it, I have seen one similar to this, not exactly, but a little bit similar. So, and I'll try to remember where that was. I think it's been maybe a year ago or so. Now I'm scoring at 1/2 inch on this side. I may need to score a little bit more, I don't know, but let's look at it and see. And when I said that this paper is just the right thickness for this, it is. I mean, it folds good, it doesn't crack. Okay, so that, yeah, I think that's gonna work right there. We have our little owl just peeking out up there. Melina's going to flip that I'm not covering the owl up because she knows I can't stand them. And now this is going to attach on that side. It's just going to glue down right there. Not going to hinder anything. But I'm going to round these corners. If I can find my corner rounder. So basically I'm just taking something that I have seen a while ago and then just adding to it. I'm going to round these corners, I do think, as well. I don't know, I just think it might look a little bit better if I round these corners. It may not, but we're going to see. And I'm hoping that that little punch is going to do it. Yeah, it will. It just needs a little bit of muscle. Because this is pretty thick paper. Okay. And by the way, this little punch is on sale this week. It's on our featured items. And if it'll punch through this thickness, it's a good little punch, and it did. It's got 3 different sizes on it. So now I'm not going to punch this side. I want this side to stay like it is. I'm going to ink, so I'm just going to cut this part out. And I think I'm going to ink with my scorched timber instead of my normal vintage photo. I just think scorched timber is going to go a little bit better with this collection. It's a little bit darker and more vintage-y. Now I do want to reinforce this. Not reinforce, but I do want to make that nice and flat, that fold there. So I'm just going to go around the edges just a little bit, just enough to make it look a little bit more vintage and not like I just cut it out. Now this one is going to glue right here, about right there. Okay, so we're just going to put some glue right here. And I'm going to press it up as close as I can get to that fold and then press it down. See if I can erase that little pencil mark right there. There we go. So then just press it down well, and you've got that folded around and it doesn't mess up anything. Okay, so we got that little fold there. Now this one I think I want to make into, yeah, I got a pocket on the back. I think I want to make this one into a side pocket. So that'll take out one of the signatures. That means we'll only have 6 instead of 7, which will be fine. 6 signatures is plenty. I just got to find paper for 6 signatures now. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to tab this, put a little pull in there, because I want it to, I don't want to lose any of this. But you'll have a little side tuck pocket right here, right in there. So we'll get a signature here. I'm going to put a signature here, here, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. Okay. So that's the gist. That's the gist of it so far. So far this has worked out pretty good. Now let's see what paper we want to use to go in this. I know I'm going to use some of the paper that came with the kit. I know I'm going to use the book page. I'm going to use some of this. I'm going to use some of this. Even though this is not coffee dyed, I don't worry about it. I can always ink on it or do something else if I want. But let me grab a bunch of paper out and I will start making some signatures for this. I have my signatures ready and we're going to get started. This is going to be my first signature. I'm just going to pull these other ones out. They don't have to go in any particular order. Let's see. Or maybe they do. I don't know. Anyway, we're just going to pull them out. Okay, so this is going to be my first signature, and I do want my first signature to be tall. So I'm actually going to let it stick out a little bit at the bottom and a little bit at the top on this. That's just what I want. You can do it any way that you want to. You don't even have to put the splap on. This is just my little way of thinking this morning. Now I'm going to try to even this up a little bit. Put me a couple of clips on it. Okay, and then I'll tell you what, I do want to reinforce that right there because of how I glued it. I just want to put some washi on it. You don't have to, I just think it'll be better to put a little washi on there. And I'm just going to use some of this fabric washi. This stuff is strong and it's a light color, so it's not going to take away anything. Just gonna kind of center it up. There we go. And that's just going to give me a little bit extra strength there when I punch my holes. I am going to use my Ease journal tool to punch my holes. That it will work fine. You don't have to worry about it. Let's see. And I'm just trying to center everything like I want it on here. That should work right there. Just making sure that I've got a little bit at the bottom sticking out and a little bit at the top. Looks like I do. So then I'm going to go ahead and attach that side there, and then this side here if I can. I should have pulled out my big pins, but I mean my big clips, but I didn't. But that's okay. We'll get it. Now I'm using the hole for the center and then 2.5 inches out, since this is a smaller little place there, and it got my holes just perfect. I already have my needle threaded. Whoops, didn't have to throw that down, did I? Now I'm using quite a big needle because I can't find my smaller needle, but you don't have to use one this big. I'm going to start in the center and then go out. Now if you want to put a little bow or something on the outside, just start on the outside and you'll end up on the outside, and then that way you can just tie a little bow there if you want to. I'm just going to do it this way. Make sure when you come up that your thread is on either side. Now I show this in a lot of my videos, so I'm not going to go over everything completely. I'm going to stitch this one in, and then I will stitch the others in off camera. Now I like to just make sure that everything looks okay on the outside, and it looks like it does. Now you can see that I punched my holes a little bit big, and I've got a little bit of white from that white core paper showing. I'm just going to put a little ink on there, but I will also put lace on mine, so I don't worry too much about that. Okay, tighten that back up. Now don't pull it too tight, but get it tight enough that your signature is not going to flop around. If you pull it too tight, you're going to tear the paper. So I just kind of pull it tight enough, I guess you could say. Okay. Now, that signature is in. And see, we'll cover that with a little lace. You don't have to. I just like to put lace on my journals. I like these little frayed pieces sticking out there, so that's that one. Now, I got a little piece in here that's trying to fold on me, so let me smooth him out. Okay, that looks like it's going to hold very, very well right there. So then we're going to go to this one and stitch in, and I'm going to go all the way through. But like I said, I'm not going to keep you on camera showing you this because I show this in a ton of my videos, and you guys know how to stitch in a signature by now. So you can just... So I will be back in just a minute when I finish stitching all these in. We are to our last signature, and I just wanted to show you, no matter how many signatures you have in, how thick your little journal is, this journal tool still stitches it in. Now all I do is I put my signature in there and I clip it on both sides. I just make sure it's down in there and about even where I want it. I set it in my journal tool like that. Now, even though it looks like it's not sitting down in there because of all these signatures, when I push on this, it's going to go down in there and go right to the center every time. Okay? There we go. These have been some of the easiest signatures I have ever stitched in. And I put 8 pages per signature. That may be a little much, but you can always take out, but you can't add too much. I thought 8 might be a good number. Oops, almost unthreaded my needle. And I'm leaving my strings hanging because I'm probably going to put some charms on my strings. I usually do. I'm using a black wax thread that we sell in the store. My hands are not wanting to cooperate with me this morning. It's trying to rain here and my Arthur is acting up big time. So I'm having to talk to my hands today. Alright, we have all of our signatures stitched in. There's the first one. It's like that. And most of these, I just put regular like coffee dyed or ink dyed, whatever papers in here. There's the second one right there. Just some of the papers that you guys sent me mostly. And then there's our third one. I'm loving this already. There's our back pocket, and then there's our fourth signature. I hope I put them all the right way up. There's our fifth signature. Uh-oh, that book page is upside down. I did it. You know what? I'll cover it, so no problem. I knew I would probably get something upside down in this. And then here is our sixth signature. Let's see, did I put book page in this one? Nope. That's right side up, that's right side up. So it looks like maybe, let me go back and check these other book pages to make sure I didn't get them upside down too. I don't think I did, but that one's right side up. That one's right side up. So it looks like just one I got upside down, and we can just cover it with pockets or whatever. It's not a biggie. So this will have strings on both sides. It'll have strings over here and strings over here that we can put extra charms on, and I am in love with it. It's a little accordion. And then we will put tags and pockets and things in here as we go along. I am loving it. It was very easy to make, not hard at all. The hardest part's getting all your little papers together to make your signatures. Everything else is simple. Very, very simple. Alright guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, if you want a AJ kit for June, I think we have 3 left. Go over and grab them before they're gone, because when they're gone, they're gone. We don't have extra anything like that in stock. So we will talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. If you want one of our ease journal tools, I'll have those linked below as well. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.